Hello guys, welcome back to Patrick TV GH. This is your savings tutor, Mr. Patrick Ban Abankwa. I welcome you to another session on Patrick TV GH, and tonight we are going to learn how we can handle difficult customers in a very tactful manner. I'm blessed to have with me a seasoned customer service expert who is going to take us through some processes on how we can manage difficult customers. And before we do that, I want to just acknowledge our sponsors. We first of all want to thank Adum City Estate. They are running promotions on some houses at Tema and Kaswa. You can see the price list on your screen now, and if you want to get in touch with them, check the number on your screen. You can just call them, visit their website also for more details on the promotion they are running. We also want to acknowledge New Executive International School, one of the best schools at Kaswa, and Springs Premier Limited, training and consulting firm that offers all sorts of training that you need for your company to be elevated. So if you have training needs for your staff, just contact Spring Premier, who have their numbers on your screen after the session, and they'll be ready to assist you in your training. Let's take a short commercial break from Adum City Estate, and we'll be right back. Welcome back from the commercial break. Tonight we are going to discuss handling difficult customers. And as I said in the introduction, I have with me Mr. Harrison Ahogba, a customer service expert and the executive director for Spring Premier Limited, a training and consulting firm. Harrison, you are welcome.
Thank you, Patrick. Nice to see you again.
Oh, it's been a while. You don't look for me.
Because of the COVID, we have to hide ourselves. I believe you are doing well.
Oh, I'm doing well. I hope you saw the promotion by Adum City. The last time we spoke, you made mention that you bought a land at Temacom 25.
Yes,
How was the experience?
yes.
Tell us.
So when I met you, you mentioned Adum City to me, and then I did my homework and research, and then to say the truth, we visited the site, myself and my partner, my wife, went there, we looked at the property, we were interested in it, and the processes were very serene, the customer experience was great. We were taken through the various projects that they have at various levels of completion. The good thing for me is about the opportunity for you to customize your building if you want.
Okay.
But the prices are moderate, the payment terms are good.
Okay.
So we've acquired one.
Wow.
We've acquired one. We want to be able to put up our structure, and I believe that
That's great.
I want to encourage everybody. There are a lot of institutions doing this product in the market, but truly and trusted in the industry, I recommend Adum City. Call their numbers, they are ready to take you there, and you will not be disappointed.
That's great. That's great. You know, when you recommend something to a friend and the friend acts on it and it gives you this positive feedback, it's always great. Tonight, we are going to look at how we can handle difficult customers. And before we do that, we want to bring a new segment to Patrick TV GH. We want to take a short scene. Viewers will take a short video on how to handle a difficult customer. We'll be right back to discuss the issues and the processes out of the video. Stay tuned.
Good morning, madam. Madam, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Danny Ban. I saw a loan advert about your company. I'm interested. What are the processes I have to go through to get the loan?
Do you have an account with us?
No, please, I don't have an account.
Okay. You first need to have an account with us before you can access the loan.
So, aside that, what other things do I need?
An ID card and a passport picture.
Which ID? Can you specify? Madam.
An ID card.
Alright. So aside that, do I need to make any specific amount of deposits to qualify for this? Because I think I saw something similar in your slides. Madam, come on, I'm
Gentleman,
talking to you.
must you even shout at me?
But you are not showing concern. I'm here to make inquiries.
Is it
Please.
necessary for you to bang the desk even anyway?
Your reaction towards me is not fine.
Is it even necessary for you to bang the desk?
Come on.
Please have the form.
All right.
Hello guys, welcome back from the short scene. I must say I'm very sad. I'm very sad at what we just witnessed. This is a live scene. It's a classical example of what happens in most shops. To be honest, I don't know what to say, but I'm lucky to have with me the expert, the customer service expert, who's going to walk us through what we just saw. What's your initial reaction from the video you just saw?
In fact, I can understand your disappointment and the shame that might have greeted you after watching this spectacular video. I use the word spectacular because, to tell you the truth, we see this in almost every aspect of our engagement. You can see this in the bank, you can see it in schools, you can see it at the choba, the watches seller's place, at the hospital. So I'm very happy we are going to discuss into details some of the key learning points that we can pick from this unfortunate behavior in our service delivery system.
Yeah, but I know Springs Premier does training for companies, staff, customer service. Is it possible for someone to go through the training and still exhibit this kind of behavior in the customer service realm?
To a large extent, we say that's why we train. People are made up of various things in their life in terms of their upbringing. Some people grew up in a very congenial environment for themselves. Others also grew up in, quote and unquote, a rowdy area. People went to some culture school. All these influences how a person will behave. So training is not a destination, it's a continuous process. So when we train, for us Springs Premier, before we do training, we do something called a needs assessment. We assess the institution, we assess the individuals and know what form of training they need and customize it for them. And beyond the training, we come back and do mystery shopping to see how best to mold. You know, behaviors are formed over a long period of time. You cannot just change it overnight. But once you make the staff or the institution understand the importance of what the customer means to them, it makes it easier for them to change. We have had very positive attitude change from our training, but to say that it will be dramatic, it is not the case. So it's continuous work. But I can assure you, what you have seen is typically almost all industries.
Okay, so let's now take the video one by one.
Sure.
So we see a customer entering a shop, speaks to the customer service, and first, before I even go towards that direction, I know we spoke. You gave me how we should handle it. So I want to pick the issues one after the other. The first thing you say as customer service, experience point is that we should always listen to the customer. In the video, the customer service person was not listening.
So you are right. So the topic is carefully crafted. If you see, the word difficult is in a quotation comments in my mind. The reason is that we necessarily don't have difficult customers. It is either our processes, our systems, or our procedures makes the customer appear to be difficult. Like you rightly said, listening is very important in customer experience management. So you see the gentleman as the front line person, the first person to be contacted, who happens to be representing the whole institution at that point of engagement, including the board and the CEO. So now that you are not listening to what the customer is saying, you have an earpiece in your ear, or you are even writing without paying attention to the customer. It means that whatever the customer would want to say, you will not be able to listen clearly. And if you have not been able to listen, how can you translate that into a service to deliver to him? So that's how can we see the difficulty. It is not even by phone. People can even be doing WhatsApping. People can be Facebooking and not be paying attention to what the customer is saying. But tell you what, the customer took a lot of risk bypassing all other competitors and walked into your office. So the first and only thing you can do in handling a customer that walks in like that is to raise up your head, give a firm handshake, and then listen to the customer. And when you listen, it will be very easy for you to solve any problem that he brings.
And it's even more important in times like this, COVID-19, where business are collapsing, where having your customer close to you is very key.
Yes.
So one, the person was not listening. Then two, another thing I see from the scene, which you also pointed, was that when the customer was having engagement with the customer service person, the customer service person was rather raising the voice.
That is it.
How is that possible?
So even to move it to the virtual, when you call somebody on the phone, you can even feel the person's attitude at the other side.
Okay.
Whether the person is paying attention to
or not,
you
yeah.
or not. So even beyond the physical video we saw, when you call somebody on the phone, especially in this COVID-19, it's important for you to listen.
Okay.
And when you are listening, it's a skill. You have to build rapport. And rapport means that you empathize with what the customer is trying to put across.
Okay.
I want to buy waakye. I want to check the price of this medicine. Assuming you were the one who was sick or you were the one who were hungry to buy the waakye, how would you want to be treated? So when you build rapport, it makes you understand how the customer is and what he wants to achieve. Then, like you rightly said, you don't raise your voice. So you are like, Madam, won't send me here, I'll get back to you. No, I'm very busy, I'll call you back. Or you are distracted. In raising your voice, it is not a competition about who has the loudest voice. The customer must be heard.
Okay.
And when he speaks, unfortunately for you, the service provider, he's the one paying your salary. So when he speaks, your voice might not be loud.
But you see, the challenge here is that the customer comes in shouting. Yes. You also want your voice to be heard. So you want to go a bit higher. Is that not the normal process?
Step. So there's a Chinese proverb that says that if you don't have a smiling face, don't open a shop.
Okay.
The customer, it simply means that the customer did not ask you to open your shop. You said your promise is you are doing banking.
Okay.
You are selling waakye. You are sewing a dress. You have a hospital. It is a reason why the customer saw an advert and came over.
Okay.
So when he comes and he's shouting and you listen first, you build rapport, you don't have to raise your voice because he has every right at that time to express how he or she is feeling. But when you calmly listen and you build that rapport with him, then he feels that what he's coming to say, you are paying attention, and then you are going to do something about it. Our body language speaks a lot.
Okay.
It's not like sometimes you are not raising your voice, but your gesture shows that you don't even mind or you don't care.
You don't care, yeah.
And that's even bad.
Wow.
So the customer will be like, I am talking to you, you are not looking at me.
Just as we saw in the video.
Just like we saw in the video. So
yes.
The point is, you don't need to raise your voice. Like I said, it is not a competition. And if you raise your voice, the customer will raise it. The point is, how high can you go? Okay. So it's very difficult and it's not good for you at all to think of raising your voice.
Another thing you shared with me is that in customer service delivery, you have to assume that others are watching.
You saw the video. Unfortunately, we didn't see the other customer sitting down. Mm-hmm. Whilst you are talking or you are misbehaving, quote and unquote, and the customer is expressing himself to you, other people are watching, either there or they will hear about it later.
Okay.
So always, as a service provider, assume that you are in a theater. When you go to the theater, there's a big screen and you have a lot of people watching. Okay. Everybody is picking an aspect of the movie that you don't know.
Okay.
So whilst you are behaving like that towards this customer who walked in, somebody might even be preparing to come in and at the gate. At the stairs, he hears you exchanging words with this customer. What do you think will happen? He would enter and he will go. He will just go and tell his friends that, Charlie, I wanted to take 100,000 Ghana cedis to this place, but as I was entering, the way the customer service gentleman is talking to the customer, don't let us go there.
Wow.
You understand? So when you assume that others are watching, and beyond this, because of COVID-19, the people talk. Yeah. So immediately they leave, they'll go and badmouth you, which is more effective than any radio or TV advert. So you have to be careful. Others are watching. So the question is, if you are able to solve that problem, and the guy who is in next to enjoy or access the service that you said you are going to provide, the guy will be like, okay, so if I have a similar problem, this is how it will be solved. Well, but if it is solved badly, he'll be like, okay, I'll advise myself. He will not even tell you, if you are lucky, he will just be withdrawing his service slowly. And once you lose loyalty of customers, you have lost your business. So it's important to know that other people are watching.
The last thing you made mention for the part one, viewers, this is part one. Because of time, we don't want to go over everything. The last thing you made mention, which I want you to just throw a bit of light, is that you say you should know when to give in
That is it. This is also another difficult part in handling customers become very difficult. There are times that from where you sit, it's about perspectives. You think you are right. Nobody takes that out of you. It's about the issue.
So, not to cut you, so in the video we just watched,
yes.
So the customer service person assume that the customer should know that if you are coming for a loan,
that is it.
you should come with a guarantor.
That is it.
And that's the inclination.
It's normal for every loan application process in the industry.
Exactly.
But you see, the difficulty here again is that we have to customize our service delivery.
Okay.
Yes, almost all institutions will ask you bring guarantor, bring it. But some ask for 3, some ask for 4, some don't even ask.
Yeah.
So how unique is yours now? You get it? So the point I meant by when I discussed with you, by saying knowing when to give in, is that having realized that the customer is angry, he's dissatisfied, and he's not happy with what you're doing, and all available opportunity that you are trying to employ is not working at the time, you have to give in, because you have to now see that the issue can be solved and there are different ways of giving in. You could call another face, which is your colleague, to come.
Okay.
You could call or refer the issue to your supervisor.
Okay.
You could let the customer fill a complaint form. There are different ways. But if the customer is speaking and you are also shouting, the customer is expressing his anger, and you are also trying to explain your point, and you don't know when to give in, it will escalate. And the next thing, all the office and the area will know that there's something going on. What is it? It's only because you didn't sell your product very well. So when we go through the points quickly, first get the understanding that you don't necessarily have to tag a customer as difficult. That's the first thing.
So the one that is buying the watch, that is talking, adding a lot of things, is not difficult.
It's not difficult because you said you are selling watch.
Okay.
And he's asking whether you have fried plantain, whether you have gari, whether you have all the things that go with watching. If you don't have, it is rather an opportunity for you to add.
Okay.
More so to say politely, oh, I don't have this. And then you cross-sell gari as against spaghetti.
Okay.
But if you go and then you are saying you are being difficult, if you buy the watch, other people are in the queue. If I am the next person, maybe I wanted to ask whether you have elephant meat. But because of the way you are behaving, I will not say it. I will even leave the queue. I will not buy the watch for you. And you can imagine the number of people I'll go and talk to about it. So I'm grateful we were able to explain into detail some skill sets that we use to handle difficult customers.
Yeah.
And then next week, God willing, when we meet again, we'll look at the part 2 related to the video we have watched. But the most interesting thing is our viewers should not be fixated on this video. Like I said, these scenarios happens everywhere. Every day.
Yeah.
So for you to pick the lessons, just list the things we have mentioned. And then next week when we meet again, viewers, we are going to go through the other steps in handling difficult customers.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison Ahogba. It's always a pleasure having you on Patrick TV GH. Because of COVID, we are not able to even handshake. But the key things you said today is that 1, you have to listen. 2, you have to build rapport with the customer, lower your voice where necessary, assume that others are watching, like a theater. Then finally, know when to give in. It has been another educative session on Patrick TV GH. We'll meet again next week with the part 2 of how to handle difficult customers. See you next week. Bye.